Japan just slapped back at the United States hard, telling Washington, our energy, our rules. No more bullying from a White House that's lost its way. This isn't just about oil and gas. This is about a key ally standing up to American hypocrisy, exposing how the Trump administration's so-called tough-on-Russia stance is nothing but smoke and mirrors. And it's putting our global fight for democracy at risk. Welcome to our channel where we cut through the lies and deliver the truth that the powerful don't want you to hear. I'm Ben Michaelis, and today we're diving into a story that's flying under the radar but hits at the heart of international alliances, energy wars, and the ongoing battle against Putin's aggression. Japan, one of America's closest partners in Asia, is pushing back against intense U.S. pressure to cut off Russian energy imports. And why? Because they know what's at stake for their own people and they're not willing to play political games that could freeze their economy in the dead of winter. Let's expose this, step by step. It all kicked off last week when U.S. Treasury Secretary Keith Bessent, handpicked by President Trump, dropped the hammer. In a blunt statement, Bessent said the U.S. expects Japan to stop buying Russian energy. Expects? That's not diplomacy. That's a demand from a bully pulpit. He claimed it would hobble Russia's war machine in Ukraine, cutting off the cash flow that funds Putin's tanks and missiles. Sounds noble, right? But here's the truth they don't want you to know. This pressure isn't new, it's been building since Trump's return to the White House. And it's laced with hypocrisy. Remember, this is the same Donald Trump who, during his first term, cozied up to Vladimir Putin like they were old golf buddies. He called Putin a genius for invading Ukraine back in 2022. He undermined NATO, our strongest alliance against Russian aggression, and now his administration is twisting arms on allies like Japan to do the heavy lifting he never did. That's not leadership, that's deflection. Trump talks tough on Russia when it suits him, but his record screams weakness. He lies, he denies, he runs from accountability. But the truth, it never hides Japan's response. Crystal clear and unapologetic, Trade Minister Yoshimura stepped up and said, point blank, Japan will make decisions based on its national interests, not Washington's whims. They've already slashed their dependence on Russian energy since the invasion down to about 10% of their LNG imports. But halting it entirely, that's a non-starter. Why? Because Japan relies on that Sakhalin project in Russia's Far East for stable, affordable gas. Cutting it off overnight could spike energy prices, hurt families, and destabilize their economy. Muto emphasized they've steadily reduced reliance, but they're not about to sacrifice their security for a U.S. edict. That's courage. That's a nation putting its people first, not bending to foreign pressure. But wait, let's dig deeper. Sources from inside the talks reveal the U.S. isn't just asking nicely. They're leaning hard, threatening potential repercussions if Japan doesn't comply. Think about that. America, under Trump, strong-arming an ally who's been with us through thick and thin, from World War to Reconstruction to standing against China's aggression in the Pacific. Japan has joined every major sanction against Russia since 2022, phasing out oil imports as part of the G7 pact. They've done their part, yet here comes Bessent echoing Trump's isolationist playbook, demanding more. It's not about unity, it's about control. And that's dangerous. It erodes trust. It weakens the very coalitions we need to counter autocrats like Putin. What they don't want you to know is the bigger game here. Russian energy sales fund Putin's war chest, billions pouring in despite sanctions. The U.S. argues that allies like Japan keeping the taps open lets Moscow sustain its brutality in Ukraine. Fair point, absolutely, but the hypocrisy burns. Trump spent years downplaying Russia's threat, even as his own intelligence agencies warned of election interference and bounties on American troops. Now, in 2025, with Ukraine still bleeding, his team picks this fight with Japan. It's selective outrage. He ramps up pressure on allies while cozying up to dictators elsewhere. Remember his bromance with Kim Jong-un or his praise for Orban in Hungary. This isn't principled policy, it's chaos. It's Trumpism dividing friends while emboldening foes. And let's talk facts, Japan's not alone in this bind. Europe slashed Russian gas, but at what cost? Skyrocketing bills, industrial shutdowns, families choosing between heat and food. Japan, resource-poor and earthquake-prone, can't afford that gamble. Their LNG from Sakhalin isn't just convenient, it's critical for power grids that keep hospitals running, factories humming, and lights on in Tokyo. Halting it could force them to buy pricier alternatives from the US or Middle East, inflating costs and emissions. Muto nailed it. They've reduced imports gradually, responsibly. But a full stop that plays into Putin's hands by fracturing alliances. Divide and conquer, that's his playbook. And Trump, he's handing him the script. Now, shift to the analysis because this isn't just a spat over pipelines. This is about the soul of global democracy. Think bigger. The war in Ukraine isn't some far-off conflict. It's a front line in the battle between freedom and tyranny. Putin invades a sovereign nation, commits atrocities, and the free world responds with unity, or at least that's the ideal. But when the US under a leader like Trump bullies allies instead of building consensus, it shatters that unity. Japan pushing back exposes the cracks in our alliances. It shows how Trump's America First mantra isolates us, making the world more dangerous. This echoes broader Trump failures. His isolationism weakens us globally. Allies like Japan, South Korea, Europe, they're our force multiplier against threats. Pressure them wrongly, and we stand alone. Democracy isn't solo, it's collective. Japan's pushback underscores true strength comes from partnership, not power plays. Folks, feel the fire. This isn't distant news. It's your world. When America bullies, we lose moral high ground. Putin, they point and laugh. See? Hypocrites, we can't afford that. Democracy's edge is integrity. Trump erodes it. Japan restores it by saying, enough. This story boils down to one truth. Alliances built on respect endure, those on coercion crumble. Japan's stand is a win for sovereignty, a reminder that democracy means mutual benefit, not domination. It exposes Trump's hollow toughness, big talk, weak follow-through. But here's the hope. The free world is resilient. Ukraine fights on. Allies like Japan adapt, reduce Russian dependence without breaking. Truth prevails when we demand it. So, what now? Stay vigilant. Share this. Demand better from our leaders. Diplomacy over dictates. Support pro-democracy voices. The fight against autocracy isn't won in silos. It's won together. Japan just proved it. We can too. The walls around hypocrisy are cracking. Let's keep pushing. Truth wins, but only if we fight for it.